shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, want to acknowledge Al Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. In Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is the brother Shabai from the GMS Denver camp. And I'm going to go in on a lesson. It was inspired by a article I came across dealing with Cardi B, the rapper, and Stefan Diggs, the wide receiver for the New England Patriots. And before I get started, I just want to read the disclaimer. It says copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right. So fair use, fair use. This video is strictly made for teaching, okay, and commenting. All right, so with that out the way, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Let me grab, let's see. Well, there's Cardi B, and that's her ex Offset, right? Which they have kids together. But anyway, I just wanted to read this. I got this off Chat GPT. It says, and a question I asked is because I saw an article that said that, well, I should just get the art. Let me see. Yeah, let's do this. It says Cardi B's brutal message to Stephon Diggs grabs attention ahead of his first Super Bowl. All right. So there you go. There's Cardi B with the green hair and Stephon Diggs in his football uniform. And let me grab this. Let's read this. It says, I said, did Cardi B warn Stephon Diggs? It says, yes, according to multiple news reports from this week, Cardi B did publicly warn her boyfriend, Stephon Diggs, about boundaries in their relationship. The warning isn't about football or the NFL, it is about personal life and fidelity. Okay? It says Cardi B has issued a stern ultimatum to Stephon Diggs, making it clear that if he cheats on her or fathers another child with someone else outside their relationship, she will end things. The warning stems from Diggs having had multiple children with different women in 2025, including a baby with Cardi B. Insiders say she's been very clear that infidelity or another secret child would be a deal breaker. All right. So, she gave him this message, man. She gave him the warning, right? But this just shows you that, these women are out of order, okay? Because when we're in the kingdom, these women are not going to have no say in matters like these, okay? Matter of fact, she's out of order even on this side. It's just that we're in Babylon and our people are in their right, I'm sorry, our people are in their wrong mindset. Um, let's see. It says right here, let's see what Chat GPT says. Because it says, if you want, I can summarize how fans and media are reacting to the couple's dynamic and that warning. Okay, let's see. Yes, please go ahead and summarize the dynamic of and the warning. So let's see what happens here. I didn't plan on doing this, but let's just see. Okay. So it just gives you a bunch of news articles here pertaining to these two people, Cardi B and Stefan Diggs. All right. It says that she's a Grammy winning rapper and he's an NFL wide receiver for the Patriots. They confirmed their relationship in 2025 and welcomed their first child together in November 2025. So, and then I think I read a different article that said he actually had multiple kids that same year, that he had with in 2024. I think he had, I don't know if I'm correct, but I think, oh, here we go. It says Cardi right in the middle. Cardi B issues stern baby mama warning to boyfriend Stefan Diggs after he has four kids with four different women in a year. Okay. And this is the spirit of Jake, man. Remember, we've been commanded by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to be fruitful and multiply. All right. And there's nothing wrong with this man, what this man did by having four kids with four different women. In the kingdom, that's going to be a small amount. If that's all you have is four kids with four different women in 1 year or a period in any, you're gonna be considered a small family, right? Now that's not very fruitful. Only four kids, because remember the kingdom is eternal, and you think that you know you're only gonna have four kids for eternity. That's crazy to think like that. Okay. But again, our people are not in their right mindset. They don't understand the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? Doesn't it say that in the scriptures that you have not known my ways? And the biggest reason is because our people here are in curses here in Babylon, America, and you know, they're they don't know the truth, you know? Like right here, look, even look how she's dressed. She's dressed like a harlot, you know? Showing off her cleavage, showing off her legs, you know. In the kingdom, this woman is going to be covered up. All right. See, but our people are, they're in a, well, let's grab it real quick. Jeremiah 2 and 21, verse 21, it says, Yet I planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And this is our people being degenerates. Okay. This dude right here, he's an NFL receiver, but he doesn't know the truth. He doesn't tell his woman, hey, cover up, you know, wear some clothing that it doesn't make you look like a harlot. You're supposed to be the only one who sees all this, is her husband, not everybody. Look, and they're in an arena. So all these men, they see her walking with the titties out and the legs out. And all these men are lusting for her. And this guy right here, he's just a simpleton. And really, they're both simpletons. Okay. Anybody from the tribes of Israel that doesn't understand and know the truth, you're just here in vain right now. You're vain means useless, vanity. Okay. Our people. Shows you, like I said, degenerate plants. We used to be a noble vine, and now we're a degenerate plant. Okay. And let's get some more scriptures here. Let's see. Let's get Jeremiah, because first of all, well, let me grab Jeremiah 3, or not Jeremiah, Genesis 3. It says here, let me see, where should we start? Okay. It says, and Yahweh, the Most High said unto, this is Genesis 3:14. And Yahweh, the Most High said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, and this is when they ate from the tree of knowledge, right? Which the serpent was the so-called white man. It's a metaphor. It wasn't a snake, you know. It was actually a so-called white man. I'm not gonna. This is a different lesson. I'm not gonna get into a breakdown of that. But maybe Lord's will, I'll do that lesson soon in the near future. But anyway, it says, and the Most High said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Ecclesiastes 3:18 tells you that the men are the beasts. Okay. It says, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and it shall bruise his heel. So the so called white man is basically in this woman's head. This is why she feels, and really in his head too, all these people, anybody who's not in the truth, the so called white man has the biggest influence on you and not the Most High Yahweh. Okay? You follow the ways of these wicked ass people and not the ways of Yahweh. Because if you follow the ways of Yahweh, this woman would be covered up. Okay? And she wouldn't be warning this man about, oh yeah, you have one more kid and it's over. And I'm ending it, right? She's not. First of all, she's not the shot caller, especially in the kingdom. She's gonna find out, and a lot of these women are gonna find out on this side during Jacob's trouble when there's desperation and destruction, famine. You know, people dying in the streets. These everyone's gonna learn what you know. Everyone's gonna get real biblical, even if they don't want to. Otherwise, they're going to die, right? But the people are going to start learning the truth through pain and suffering, okay? And this is the way the world is going. It's going towards that Jacob's trouble, aka martial law, where you ain't going, you know, you're not going to have the luxury of a lot of the things you have the ability to do right now. It's going to be taken away, okay? So remember, she said, insiders say she's been very clear that infidelity or another secret child would be a deal breaker, meaning she will end the relationship, right? So, let me get some more precepts. It says, because she's actually, you know what? Let's do this real quick. You know what these women don't understand is they're servants. They're supposed to be, you know, that saying "happy wife, happy life." That's a bunch of bullshit that was made up here in Babylon, America. It's actually the opposite. You women are supposed to serve your husbands, okay, and you know, not the other way around. Let's get this real quick. Woman definition. Let's see. See if we can get the Webster's. Let's see. Okay, here we go. It says right here, I typed in woman definition for the Webster's dictionary. It says, according to Merriam Webster, a woman is primarily defined as an adult female person. The definition also includes a woman belonging to a specific category, womankind, and a female with distinctively feminine nature, womanliness. The term also ref- can also refer to girlfriend, wife, or female servant. Okay. And that's really what I wanted to grab and prove that the word woman, it means servant. Okay. But these women, these women, they don't want to serve anybody but themselves, you see? And this is why these people are asked backwards, right? So you go into the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says woman, it's a noun, and we read all that. But the one I want to focus on is right here, number 4. A woman who is a servant or personal attendant, okay? A wife, okay? A woman is a personal attendant to who? To her husband, okay? If she doesn't have the ability, if she's righteous, she's not going to be telling her man what he can and can't do. Okay. And I'm going to grab, let's see here. let me see, grab some more precepts. Let's see, it's First Samuel. Let's try that one. Let's grab some precepts here. Okay, let's see. I will grab this one, but I don't want to grab this one just yet. I want to grab, well, let's go to Genesis. Go back to Genesis. Yeah, so Cardi B, in the kingdom, she's not going to be calling no shots. Okay. Let's read this Genesis 16. Let's read the story about Sarai and Hagar. And Sarai was Abraham, her name was later changed to Sarah, and Abraham was changed from Abram to Abraham. But let's read this account here in Genesis 16 and 1, because you have this woman, Cardi B. She's not in a spirit of Sarah. She's in a spirit of Babylon, America. Okay, the daughter of Babylon. You know, she represents this woman literally represents wickedness. Um, harlot. She's a harlot. You know, because this is the other thing I wanted to point out. I mean, this is who she has her first kids with. Is this dude right here? Let me see if I can grab. Oh shit! Hold up. Okay, yeah, this works. So this is her first. Well, it's probably not her first, but the husband she was with before she was with Stefan Diggs. He's the rapper Offset. All right. And women are not, they're not permitted to have multiple husbands, multiple sex partners, because you're a harlot once you have more than one. You as a woman, you start having sex with other men that are not your husband. The first dude you sleep with, the Most High looks at you as a whore. Okay. And let's see. Let's see what this one. So yeah, but yeah, you get the point. You know, look at her. Let's go to back to this. See, multiple men, and now she's talking about, oh, if he has another woman and another baby behind my back, then I'm leaving him. And what's she gonna do? Go find another dude? Or she's just gonna continue the cycle, like J Lo, right? That's another harlot. But and then look at these. Well, let me keep reading the scriptures, and then we'll read those comments. But this is Genesis 16 and 1. It says, now Sarai, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold now, Yahweh hath restrained me from bearing children. I pray thee, go in unto my maid, that it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarah. So what she was asking Abraham, or yeah, it is Abraham, but his name was still Abram. Sarah was like, "Yo, I can't have kids, so you know, go into my maid." What does that mean? Go unto my maid, in unto my maid. That means go have sex with my maiden, my maid. You know, she was bringing him a woman. And that's what these women are going to get humbled, because they're going to be doing these same type of things in the kingdom, bringing their husbands other women. All right, and that sounds so far fetched and so out of line for you Babylonian women, but this is the truth. This is the scriptures we're reading, the Bible. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you feel about it. Okay, you can get upset. You can turn the video off. You can, say, "Oh, this is not true." But we're literally reading, or I'm reading this from the Bible. Okay. So that's, you know, that's, that's kind of the point on that. I just wanted to bring that point, um, you know, that Sarah, who was righteous, and Abraham were righteous, And it was the righteous thing for her to do what she did, bring her husband another woman. Okay. Now, what is you got to ask yourself: is Cardi B, is she righteous? Is she righteous for saying telling Stefan that, hey, you can't have no more kids with no more women? You know, the answer is she's wicked. She's out of order. It's not her call. It's not her say. Okay. And this is just scriptural, biblical righteousness. Okay. If you're getting offended by this lesson, it's because you've been in Babylon too long. Okay. You've been raised up by the heathen. You got a mindset of the heathen. And really, that main heathen is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's the one who has us in this degenerate state of mind, like we read in Jeremiah. Okay. So the next precept I want to grab is Ecclesiasticus from the Apocrypha. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to, well, let me see if I can go back a little bit. Yeah, okay. Ecclesiasticus 26. I should have put KJV. Hold up. So here's Ecclesiasticus 26. And this lesson is going to run longer than I thought, but that's all right. I have time. Okay, let's see here. Let's read about blessed. We'll start at the top, verse 20, chapter 26, verse 1 in the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach. It says, blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. Okay. And he's this brother right here. I mean, Stefan, he's not gonna. I guarantee you, he's not gonna honor her warning. I guarantee you, man. You know, he's gonna be around all those other women. He's a celebrity. He's gonna be around the baby's moms that he had with the same year he had a baby with her, Cardi B. And you don't think there's gonna be some turmoil and to come out of this? And not to mention, she's still fresh off her relationship with Offset. She's out here committing, you know, whoredom, right? Because she's not allowed, according to the Bible, she's not allowed to be with another man. Once she had, once her and Offset were done, and really, Offset was probably just one of her um, numbers on her body count. All right, because that's how these women are in America. They have high body counts, and these women are in a stage now where they brag about their body counts. Okay, so let's keep reading the scriptures though, because we are going, no matter what you think, the person watching this video, everything I'm saying, at the end of the day, we're going to keep it biblical right here. Okay. So let's see what's a good verse to grab out of this chapter, because there's a bunch to grab out of this chapter. Okay, let's see. Let's see. We'll read verse 6 because you know that Cardi B is going to be giving Stefan Diggs a headache every time he has to go pick up those other kids, from those other women. So let's read this. Verse 6. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. Okay. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro, he that hath hold of her as though he had held a scorpion. All right. And I'm predicting it right now. You heard it here first. These two are not going to, they're not going to make it. All right. He's already putting him on a warning list and whatnot. And, and he's still got to deal with all those other babies' moms that, you know, that she knows about. So, hey, it's not going to be long before these two are split up. I can guarantee it. Okay. And not only that, she's going to be like a scorpion to him, the Bible says. You know, every time he goes to pick up his other kids, she's going to be hounding him, you know, talking shit, you know. She's already out of order. She's already left one man. So how much easier is it for her to leave this man when she gets upset at him, right? That's how these women are set up, man. You guys know what I'm talking about. You listeners. You know how these women get, man. Especially our women, Jake women, because they've been taught to be hoes. You know, the music, the entertainment, you know, the vibration of evil and wickedness is pushed on our women the most. Okay. And our women are the loudest, you know, our women, the so called black, so called Hispanic, Latino, and Native American women, these the loudest women on the planet Earth. Okay. Big mouths, you know, big headaches, all included. Okay. So it says, let's see. Oh, well, let's read this. Well, I'll start at 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Right? So these women, liberty is bad for women when they have freedom. Because women are emotional creatures, and they have too much freedom, they're going to make them just nothing but bad decisions. Okay. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain. And this verse is not talking about her opening her mouth, if you catch my drift. Okay. It says, and drink of every water near her. What does that mean? It means she's going to be hoeing around. She's thirsty. All right. They even call that term nowadays. Oh, that girl's thirsty. You know. It says, by every head she will sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. Okay. And that's what she's doing right here. She's got liberty. She was first with Homeboy, right? Offset. And now she's with Stefan Diggs, opening that quiver. This right here is her quiver. And he she's opening it to all these different arrows, if you catch my drift. Okay. So let's keep reading. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, and if you watched videos of Cardi B, her laugh is pretty annoying and she's loud as fuck. She's got a big ass mouth. So let's see what the Bible says about a woman with a big mouth, or is that see if that's a blessing for a woman to have a loud big mouth. Um, verse 14. We'll start at 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and there's nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Okay? So if you watch videos of Cardi B, she's the opposite of silent. Okay? She has a big ass mouth. Her laugh is annoying. And it's just like, I mean, me personally, I couldn't deal with a woman like that every time she opened her mouth to laugh. And if you just go Google Cardi B laughing, all right? Um, and it says, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed, because in ideally, women need direction. They need to be guided by a man, a real man. Okay. And it says, so much worth as a mind well instructed. So a good woman, a righteous woman, a virtuous woman, she's gonna be happy to be instructed, to be guided, to be told what to do, right? You know, women like that shit. You take control, they like that. Okay. A well instructed, that's in their nature. That makes a woman hot, you know. When you tell her what to do, when you when you instruct her what to do. All right. So her, does it sound like she's um willing to be instructed? No, she's trying to give him instructions. So it shows you she's out of order. Okay. Um, let's see what else. Well, we can grab this right here. A shame, verse 25, Ecclesiasticus 25, 26, 25. It says, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear Yahweh Bashim Yoshai. And being shamefaced deals with, she's she's um she's ashamed to do certain things that'll make her husband look bad, or make her look bad, you know. But if you're over here blabbing your mouth on the internet saying you warning your husband, then you're that's not shamefaced. You see, it says, let's see, um, all right, so that's it on that particular chapter. But okay, there's offset in her, right? So let's keep going with some more precepts. Let's get, because I wrote down a few precepts. We'll grab First Corinthians 7 and 15. It says, oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong. I got Colossians. Let's see. Oh, what do you got? First, did I write it down wrong? I must have wrote it down wrong. That's all right, because we have a lot of precepts to get in on this lesson. Let's see. Okay. All right. So we already established the fact that she was with Offset, right? And now she's with him, Stefan Diggs. So we go to the scriptures again, and let's read this. Uh, all right, I'll read this. Because the only way a woman is will get liberty to be with another man is if her husband dies. Okay, according to the scripture. So we're gonna read First Corinthians 7, and actually let me see what we'll read 7, and I say therefore to unmarried and widows, it is good for them to if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain themselves, that's what it's talking about, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn, meaning burn with a passion, meaning she's in heat. But the problem for her is Offset is still alive, right? He didn't pass away. That would be the only way this woman would be able to go and get another man. Okay. And I know it sounds way used to what you're hearing, because you have to understand the Lord, Yahweh has set up men to teach His ways, okay, not the ways of this world. And if you're in disagreement, guess what? You're going to be destroyed, because plain and simple, there's no way around it. All right. Um, and let's see. It says, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, let not the wife depart from her husband. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. All right. So Offset shouldn't have put her off either, put her away. Unless she was unfaithful, which now, yeah, she's with she's with this dude. So now Offset, yeah, you know, he's basically allowed her to commit whoredom. So now, yeah, he don't need to take her back. And why would you want her back? You know, all the drama that comes with that type of dynamic. Like if dude was to take her back after these two were together, and it's just a whole big old fucking mess. And that's really what I'm explaining here is the case and the state of all these people here in Babylon. That's why it's called Babylon. It means confusion. Everybody's confused, okay? Um, let's keep reading. So that's it on that chapter. Let's get another precept. Proverbs. We'll go to Proverbs for this one. 14. All right. It says, is that what I wanted? Nah, I don't want that. Um, but yeah, you can guarantee that, this relationship is not going to work out. All right. Not in a classic sense, right? She's already telling him, giving him ultimatums and shit, and rules and warnings. And he's really probably not even too worried about it because he's gonna go get his some ass no matter what she says. All right, we know how Jake we know how Jake get down, you know, and he's a man. He doesn't have to be under her. She's supposed to be under him, right? Um, let's get let's prove that a little bit here. Let's go to First Corinthians 11 and verse 3, because this is the order that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai have set up, right? Yahweh has set it up. But it says, verse 3, it says, but First Corinthians 11 and 3, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, Yahushai, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushai Hamashiach is Yahweh. Okay, so there's an order. It goes Yahweh, Yahushai, the man, and then the woman. Okay, so she is out of order when she's telling him, giving him warnings. All right, she's way out of order. Okay. Um, let's get some more precepts because I wrote down a few, but let's see. Let's go to Jeremiah 31. All right, so this is why Cardi B is, not only because she's in Babylon, not only because she's been taught the ways of the heathen. Is not neither one of them are in the right mindset, right? They don't like you don't see these people glorifying Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. No, they're glorifying themselves, and it's vanity, Like a woman is she shouldn't even have that mindset where she's already thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave this dude, or I'm gonna give him an I'm going to lay down some laws. She should just be worried about serving him, you know, like we read. But she's not a traditional woman. She's not a righteous woman. She's not a woman that's virtuous. You see, she's a woman that's set up to be a harlot, and really she influences all the other, Israelite women in Babylon, America, to where they see Cardi B doing this shit, so they feel like it's just normal, and that's this place. That's how this place is, you know, a big ass cesspool, big ass fucking confusion, ball of confusion, aka Babylon. So that's what it means, confusion. So let's go back to, let's see. So yeah, it says, how long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Okay. And that's a new thing on the earth. Okay. A woman compassing a man. Let's get that word compass. All right. Let's see. All right. So it means turn aside, to compass, turn, turn away, remove, right? Let's see. To turn oneself, to close round, to turn round, to be turned over, to change, to surround, you see, to go about, to come about, right? So that's the state of the mind of these women. They ruling over you, and you're supposed to rule over your woman. Okay, we read that in Genesis. Um, so she's, it's a new thing on the earth, but it's wicked. Okay, it's out of order. Let's get this real quick. First Timothy, and women hate this. Women hate Timothy because of what his he says, in his book, and it's really Yahweh. Yahweh, he's speaking through Yahweh, right? Prophets all spoke through Yahweh. It says here in First Timothy, let's see, 2. Wait, First Timothy 2. Dang, why did I write so many of these verses down wrong? Let me see. Bear with me. I'm almost done with this lesson. Let's see. All right, that's what it was. First Timothy 2 and okay, let's start at okay, good. I'm glad we'll start at 9. It says right here, women instructed. Remember, we read a woman well instructed. That's a blessed. You're blessed if you have a woman that's well instructed, that's willing to follow your lead, right? Not sitting here telling you what you can and can't do, or telling you, giving you warnings. And these motherfuckers barely start dating, and they have a baby, which whatever. But the thing is she's already trying to usurp authority over him, you know? And we're going to read what the Bible says about that. It says, in like manner, First Timothy 2:9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. All right. Does this look like modest apparel to you? The word adorn, it means she's made more beautiful, made more attractive. If she adorns herself, if she was covered up, then she'd be that. That's a beautiful thing when a woman knows how to, have respect for herself and her man. You know, like I said, she's an arena full of people, namely men, and she dressed like a harlot. And then he's a professional athlete. It's either he don't give a shit or he obviously he doesn't know the truth, but it could be that he doesn't give a shit about her, right? Because if you give a shit and you're in order and you're in your right mindset, there ain't no way your woman is leaving the house in this outfit. Okay, so let's. And this is why a lot of the men of the Lord we're single because we're not going for this bullshit anymore. You come into the truth, you're gonna you're in that we're like minded with like Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, and we're not gonna sit here and be simps for these women and let them wear what they want. When you come to this truth, you learn how to become you learn how to become a man. Okay, and then when you see the other men in the world, being simps, it's a vexation of your spirit. So let's read that again. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and not and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which becometh woman professing godliness with good works. This right here is not godliness, okay? He should have told her to go put on the rest of that outfit. Cover her cover her skin. You're not supposed to be seeing all this flesh, all this skin on this woman, okay? And I mean, she's attractive, all right? So of course you're going to cause other men to look at her and lust for her, and that's just bringing forth sin, you know. It says, verse 2, 1 Timothy 2:11, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. All right. So Cardi B's job is to be a servant to her man, her husband, in all subjection. Okay. Let's get that word subjection. She's supposed to be giving him warnings and saying that, hey, if he doesn't do this, I'm leaving, or it's over. I'm ending it. Hell no. She's out of her mind. Okay. Subjection, the act of subjecting, obedience, subjection, subordination. Okay. Let's get this word subordination. All right, let's see. Subordination says the action of or state of subordinating or of being subordinate. And you look at these similar words: inferiority, lowliness, subjection, subservience, submission. And this is the woman. Hey, whether you like it or not, women are inferior to men. According to the scriptures, the men are superior. We are superior. Okay? You women are made for us. Eve was made for Adam, not the other way around. Okay? And if you don't agree with it, you don't have a problem with me. You have a problem with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You have a problem with the Most High. Okay? So, and then you women have the audacity to you'll still sit there and say, "Oh, well, the Lord's dealing with me," but I don't agree with, with this lesson. But the Lord's dealing with me. You're out your mind. And you women who are in that mindset and against this truth, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be humbled. All right. So let's see. Let's go back to the scriptures. Um. Okay. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Okay. But I suffer not a woman to teach,